Families are just starting to learn the state is abruptly shutting down their preschool programs for at-risk kids. The early childhood education programs are getting hit the hardest here in central and downstate Illinois, even after the state increased funding in this year's budget. Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell has been looking into this for us. He's live in Springfield with the details. Mark, what do we know so far?
Jessica, there's a competitive grant process where these different districts can line up and apply. And this year was that 5-year marker. A whole bunch of extra districts and programs from around the state got in line and applied. And so there was a bigger demand. Lawmakers did give an extra $50 million of funding this year to this program. But that money ran dry quickly. Let's take a look at some of the areas in our neck of the woods. For the prevention initiative is one part of this. The Champaign-Urbana Public Health Department is seeing cuts almost $250,000. The crisis nursery, $163,000. In Mattoon, $160,000. In Decatur and also one in Macon County combined for cuts of $835,000. Springfield, almost $750,000. There's another initiative called the Preschool for All. We're seeing significant cuts there too. Champaign County, almost $750,000. Danville getting decimated. East Alton, Jacksonville, and Paris, also downstate, getting hit as well. And then the Preschool for All expansion, Henderson, which is on the west side of Illinois, $1.3 million in cuts. Here's the one thing about every one of these districts I'm naming for you. They each qualified and met a score of higher than 60%, which was required, and they're still getting cuts. Listen to this story from Superintendent Jeremy Larson.
They said, we want you to put a classroom together. Now imagine putting a classroom together and finding kids to put in this classroom in like March and April. I mean, we started doing screenings, bringing kids into this program who weren't in school yet. And so you're giving more access to preschool that some kids don't have access to, maybe because of income levels. And so, because these are for at-risk children. There were students with disabilities. You had to have so many.
That Paris school district is 60% poverty level. There are homeless children right now being treated and being educated in these preschool and early childhood programs. We had law enforcement officers and military people all in the State House earlier this year saying that these preschool programs make a major difference in kids' lives, and now many of them are being shuttered with very little warning. We're going to have much more on this story going throughout the week and into next week as we hear from many of the different school districts that are impacted. Right now, the State Board of Education says the silver lining, they're able to have preschool for 5,000 extra kids in other places around the district, around the state, because of the added funding. But kids in our neck of the woods and around downstate are very much losing out. And so there's going to be several more legs to this story. Jessica?
All right, Mark Maxwell live in Springfield. Mark, thank you so much.